If you Google how much can you make with AI right now, you will find two kinds of answers. One says a few $100s, realistically, if you stick with it. The other says thousands of dollars in your first month, guaranteed. Here is the honest answer nobody wants to give you because it does not sell a course. It depends heavily on which 90 days you are talking about. Day 1 to 30, day 31 to 60, or day 61 to 90. Because the honest numbers are completely different in each phase, and almost nobody breaks it down that specifically. In this video, I'm giving you real, sourced numbers for exactly what to expect in each 30-day window of your first 90 days with AI income, based on actual seller and freelancer data from 2026, not guesses and not hype. Welcome back to AI Wealth Odyssey, the channel where we turn artificial intelligence into real income, one idea at a time. If you are new here, hit that subscribe button right now, because every week we drop new videos on how to use AI to build real income in 2026. 3 phases, real numbers for each one. Let us get into it. Phase 1, days 1 to 30. I'm going to call this the zero phase because for most people, that is the honest, realistic range. Across multiple independent 2026 income reports on Etsy, one consistent number keeps showing up. Most beginners earn between $0 and $50 in their first 90 days, full stop, not just the first 30. On Fiverr, the data is even more specific. Roughly 70% of all sellers on the platform earn under $100 a month, and most new sellers land their first order somewhere between 2 and 4 weeks after going live, assuming they actively promote the gig rather than just posting and waiting. If you remember video 13 on this channel, where I actually tracked 5 different AI side hustles for 30 real days, this matches almost exactly what happened. 4 Amazon KDP sales, 2 affiliate commissions, 3 print-on-demand sales. Small numbers, real numbers, not the numbers you see in thumbnails promising overnight success. Here's what is actually happening in days 1 to 30, even when the income number looks like nothing. You are setting up your shop or your gig. You are learning the platform's search behavior. You are creating your first few pieces of content or product listings. You are absorbing the learning curve that every single successful seller had to go through before you. The honest range for day 1 to 30, $0 to $50 for most consistent beginners. This is not a guarantee, it is what the data shows for people who kept showing up through phase 1. Phase 2, days 31 to 60. This is where the honest numbers start to genuinely shift, because this is where the invisible work from phase 1 starts becoming visible. On Etsy, multiple 2026 sources converge on a similar range, beginners moving from the $0 to $50 range into somewhere between $100 and $500 a month, typically achieved within this exact window if they've been consistently adding listings and refining their SEO. On Fiverr, this is the window where sellers who actively promoted their gig outside the platform, sharing it, building initial reviews, refining their pricing, commonly cross into that same $100 to $500 range. Here's the mechanism behind why Phase 2 looks different from Phase 1, and it's worth understanding rather than just memorizing the number. Platforms like Etsy and Fiverr use search ranking algorithms that weigh engagement signals, favorites, reviews, click-through rate, completion rate. A brand new listing or gig has none of that data yet, so the algorithm is genuinely no reason to show it to anyone. By day 30, if you've been consistent, you have started accumulating exactly those signals. The algorithm is not being unfair to you in Phase 1, it simply does not have enough information yet. This is also the phase where the specific niche and category you chose starts to matter more. AI-powered Fiverr gigs, specifically AI content writing, AI automation, AI-powered design, are currently growing faster than almost any other category on the platform, with some reports showing year-over-year growth well above 100% in AI-adjacent freelance demand. If you chose an AI-powered angle for your side hustle, Phase 2 is often where that decision starts paying off relative to someone doing the exact same work without the AI efficiency advantage. The honest range for day 31 to 60, $100 to $500 for most consistent beginners. This is not a guarantee. It is what the data shows for people who kept showing up through Phase 1.
Phase 3, day 61 to 90. This is where the honest data starts to diverge more sharply between people who stayed consistent and people who did not, because this is where genuine compounding begins to show up in the numbers. Multiple 2026 sources point to a similar milestone happening right around this window. Etsy sellers commonly report crossing into consistent income above $500 a month, somewhere in the 3 to 6 month range, with the strongest, most consistent sellers hitting that milestone specifically within their first 90 days, rather than needing the full 6 months. On Fiverr, this is the window where the platform's own data shows sellers commonly hitting their first $500 month, assuming they built repeat clients rather than relying purely on one-time orders. Here is the part of Phase 3 that almost nobody explains clearly, and it matters more than the dollar figure itself. By day 90, if you have been consistent, you are no longer starting from zero every single day. You have listings that are still selling from weeks ago. You might have a repeat client who no longer requires you to win them over from scratch. Video 29 on this channel called these leading indicators, the signals that show up before the big number does. By day 90, several of those signals should genuinely be present if the first 60 days went reasonably well. The honest range for day 61 to 90, depending heavily on niche, consistency, and how well you applied the platform's search mechanics, somewhere between $300 and $1,000 a month for consistent beginners, with a smaller number of highly consistent sellers crossing into the higher end of that range, specifically because they treated it as a real system rather than a hobby. Let me put all three phases together into one honest picture. Day 1 to 30. $0 to $50 for most people, sometimes into the low hundreds if you executed well. Day 31 to 60, $100 to $500, driven by algorithm signals finally kicking in. Day 61 to 90, $300 to $1,000, as consistency starts to compound. Now here is the part I want to be completely direct about. These numbers are not guarantees. They are honest ranges pulled from real 2026 seller and freelancer data, and your specific result depends heavily on which method you choose, how consistently you show up, and how well you apply what the platform's own search mechanics reward. Someone who treats day 1 to 90 as a genuine daily practice will land toward the higher end of every single one of these ranges. Someone who posts once a week and hopes will land toward the lower end or below it. The single biggest variable in all of this data across every single source is not the tool you use or even the niche you pick. It is whether you are still showing up on day 60 when the number still looks disappointing. So what do you actually do with these numbers? First, set your expectations using Phase 1, not Phase 3. If you expect the Phase 3 number in week 1, you will quit before you ever reach it, because the honest data shows almost nobody starts there. Second, track the leading indicators from video 29, not just the dollar amount, especially during Phase 1 and early Phase 2, because the dollar amount is genuinely the slowest signal to move. Third, pick one method and stay in it through all three phases, rather than switching every few weeks, because every single data source in this video measured consistent sellers, not people who restarted their strategy every month. The honest 90-day numbers are not exciting. They are not what gets millions of views on a thumbnail, but they are real, and knowing them means you won't quit at day 45 thinking something is broken, when the data shows that is often exactly the point right before things start moving. How much can you realistically make with AI in your first 90 days? Days 1 to 30, $0 to $50 for most people. Days 31 to 500, $100 to $500 as algorithm signals kick in. Days 61 to 90, $300 to $1,000 as consistency starts to compound. Real ranges, real sources, not hype.
Drop a comment below and tell me, which phase are you currently in? I read every single one. If this video gave you value, smash that like button, and if you are not subscribed to AI Wealth Odyssey yet, do it now. Every week, we break down exactly how to use AI to build real income in 2026. I'll see you in the next one. Let's build this together. Peace.